Hello, my name is Nathanael, and I am your worship leader for this year.
Hi Oasis, this is Joanna, your head of evangelism.
Hi Oasis, my name is Chloe, and this is my senior words of wisdom.
Hey Oasis, if you don't know me, my name is Annie Kim. I am a senior, and here are my words of wisdom.
For me, there were two things that were really important to me. And first thing was the Bible. I can't stress the importance of reading the Bible every day. It can't be that hard to read, like a chapter or even half a chapter per day, right? Once one of my teachers told me, not an Oxford teacher, like a church teacher, he told me that just as you eat food to sustain your body, you have to read the Bible. You have to eat your spiritual food to keep your spirit alive. And I completely agree with that. Because in my life, just reading the Bible, it teaches me, and God gives me understanding about who He is, what His righteousness is. Just shows me more of His love, and love, and love, like everywhere. It taught me to keep a very compassionate heart. Taught me the rights and the wrongs, and it stabilized me. The envious and like easily angry person that I was before, I'm 1/4 of that now. And also, like first chapter of John says that the Word is God. When you just read the Bible, He's with you. Just pray for understanding. Just pray for His grace to be poured upon you, and He will do it. The other thing is just to be faithful towards God. Just constantly remind yourself that everything you do and everything you say should be for His kingdom and His kingdom alone. Your purpose is to spread His gospel. Right? It's not to get a good education or be good at this sport or that, or I don't know, be a great ping pong player or be a great musician. I don't know. That's not your goal. Your goal isn't to get a good family and to just live out your life. No, that's not it. Jesus called us to spread His word, spread the gospel to the ends of the earth, and that is our purpose, and that's what we should strive for. Good education, good musician, we should go further than that. Our education should be dedicated to His kingdom, just like Paul dedicated his educational background to his work. Dedicate your dedicate your you musicians out there. Dedicate that to His kingdom, right? Dedicate that to worshiping God and just revealing and showing His just glory and your love for Him. And this all leads back to reading His word, right? You need to be equipped. That's it. Peace.
I just wanted to share some words of encouragement and words of wisdom that God had placed in my heart throughout the years that I've been attending Oxford Academy. To start off, this is a bit of a sensitive topic, but I know our school struggles with a lot of cheating, and I'm not here to publicly condemn anyone for doing it, because I know at one point or another we were all guilty of cheating, whether it was in academics, on a test, in homework, copying off someone's homework, in relationships, and the Bible is clear that God does not advocate for cheating, that He admires integrity, that He honors those who are honest and who are trustworthy in nature. And a lot of times it's so easy to fall into this mentality where cheating is the norm, that it's okay to copy off someone's homework because everyone's doing it. But the thing is, God made you to stand out, not to fit in, that the things, Romans 12:2, do not conform to the patterns of this world, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And it's so important that, like, I've been guilty of cheating so many times, and when I look back on it, even if I did get the grade that I wanted, there's so much guilt and so much regret that comes with it. And I just encourage you guys to stay strong. Surround yourselves with friends who have integrity, friends who are honest and are true to the Word of God. The next point I wanted to talk about was college. I know Oxford is a college prep school that we're kind of hardwired to figure out what our dream college is and what the formula is for us to get into the school of our dreams. And the Lord spoke to my heart, and He told me, a life focused on college is a life wasted. It made me think about all the people in my grade who their lives are focused on grades, SAT scores, and all of these worldly things that can pass by. So the next time you think of college, the next time you think of schoolwork, think of it as an assignment from God. And by having this mentality, when you don't feel like doing well in school, when you don't feel like studying for the test, you have to remind yourself, like, this is a task from God. Everything that I do, it's an investment towards eternity. And just by having this mindset, it literally changes everything. I remember I was studying for SAT last summer, and my pastor had told me this, like, the next time you take an SAT practice test, then think of it as a task from God, and it literally changed everything. I remember I was reading my vocabulary cards, and I was like, this is an assignment from God, and all of a sudden, like, I started remembering the vocab word so much more easily. So I just encourage you guys to begin to develop this mindset and to pray that God will begin to show Him in your work and in your studies.
It's going to be centered around the idea of confidence, and it's going to be twofold, actually. So, the first topic for confidence that I'm talking about is confidence in yourself when it comes to school and working hard. So I think that it's easy for all of us to agree that Oxford is an extremely competitive environment in the academic aspect, and so many people tend to judge others based on their grades, based on their SAT scores, AP scores, ACT scores, and all of that. And a lot of us forget that our identity is not placed in the numbers and grades and scores we get on anything, but it's placed in God and our willingness to work hard, remain diligent, and persevere. And I think that when I was younger, freshman, sophomore, and junior, I really struggled with comparison, and I struggled with finding my own worth and value. I compared myself to all of my peers, and there would be many times where I'd look at myself and think, I'm working harder than like everyone around me, but everyone around me is just smarter, and this isn't going to get me anywhere. And I just remember so many times wanting to give up because I felt so stupid. But I'm here to tell you that that was so wrong of me. Like, it was so wrong to be hating myself, because God created me this way, and God values me this way, and He values you just the way you are. But believe me, hard work will pay off. And just because you feel like you're not doing well enough, it doesn't mean that you're stupid. It doesn't mean that you're not good enough. You just need to continue persevering, because that's what God looks for. It's what builds character. And there's a Bible verse that's in Hebrews. It's Hebrews 10:35, and it says, "So do not throw away your confidence. It will be richly rewarded. You need to persevere so that when you have done the will of God, you will receive what He has promised." And so that can translate in school life when it comes to studying hard, or compared to like wanting to give up. I encourage you all to remember and keep in mind and always know that your value and identity is in the way you glorify God, the way you continue to give Him all of your attention, all of your time, whether it be, working hard in school, praying, keep all of that in line, because that is what will truly keep you motivated and away from the worldly lies telling you that you're not good enough, that you're not smart enough. And so I really want to share that with you in case anyone is struggling in that area. And secondly, I wanted to talk about confidence in being bold about your faith and sharing it. I think that so many of us fear the judgment of others, not only in the aspect of the grades you get and the scores you get, but also in the aspect of being a follower of Jesus. We might get judged a lot. People might look at us differently. People might think, it's weird, but God is so worth it all. He's absolutely worth it all. When I'm looking back at my sophomore and junior year after I got saved, I regret all the times I pushed off being willing to go out and evangelize during lunch, being willing to reach out to someone I see sitting by themselves. I regret all the times I pushed it off. I regret sitting on my butt and not taking action when I know God was convicting me. And I just want to encourage you that time will fly by so quickly when you're so consumed with studies, working, homework, school, everything. Time will fly by so quickly, but your time here on earth is to glorify God. And I think it's so important to always remember that there are so many people out there in our school who don't know Jesus, and it's very, very important to be sharing the gospel. It's very important to be radiating God's love to other people when they don't know God yet. It's so important. And I think that I took it for granted a lot. I took the time I had for granted when God gave me opportunities to talk about Him to non-believers. And I just really wanted to encourage you that everything right now is so temporary. And so I wanted to encourage you to be bold in your faith. Go out during lunch, during class, talk about God to people who don't know Him yet. Because our time here on earth and at Oxford is so short and so temporary. And even though we may encounter judgment from other people, it's so worth it. It's absolutely worth it. And I know any of you guys who are watching this can probably name off 20 people, 20 of your friends who don't know God yet. And that's why I think it's so important. This is literally life-saving right here. You're changing lives. And to be completely honest and blunt, if your friends who are non-believers don't know God, and let's say they get in a car accident tonight, they're going to hell. And it sounds so scary, but it's so honest and real that God needs to be shared. Do not contain the love of God to yourself. Be bold and courageous, and be willing to do God's will on our campus and spread the gospel. Luke 21:19. Stand firm and you will win life. So never be afraid. And confidence is key. Always turn to God for the strength that you need. Never rely on yourself. And I wish you all the best of luck. Thank you so much for being a part of Oasis, and I love getting to know each and every one of you. Bye.
First of all, I'd like to apologize because I'm really sick right now, and so I just sound really gross. Okay, so first, the one thing that I really learned throughout my years here at Oxford is that it's never too late to return to God. And my dad's a pastor, and I've been raised in the church my whole life, but I wouldn't consider myself being an actual Christian until the summer before junior year. And preceding that summer, I always thought oh, it's been too long for me to actually go to God because I've been so far in my sin, I've been so deep in my sin. that like God wouldn't want me to turn back to him, but really God is so pleased and he's so delighted to see you returning. So even if it's late, I mean, there's like better late than never, so yeah, it's never too late to return to God. Okay, the second one that I wrote was the opinion of people doesn't matter if you're living to please God. And I think one thing that I really learned was to not actually care about what people think in terms of like being an evangelist on a campus that's primarily non-Christian, as well as just overall not caring about what people thought about my personality, about what I did, about what I said, things like that. Because when you start caring about what other people say, your identity is then placed in the opinions of other people and not God. And so just really finding the importance of your identity in God. But then at the same time, yes, you shouldn't care about the opinion of others, but not to the point where you're arrogant and you ignore constructive criticism as well. And so just be discerning about what to listen to and what to ignore, because a lot of people throughout your years at Oxford will say negative things about you, and people are bound to dislike you. No one is perfect, and absolutely not everyone is going to like you, and I've learned that the hard way. And so just really find your identity in Christ, because it honestly does make everything so much easier, and it causes so much less stress because you don't worry about what other people are thinking about you, and also just makes campus ministry so much easier. So the third thing that I learned at Oxford was to always reconcile, especially with brothers and sisters. And so for those of you who don't know what reconciliation is, it's basically like the restoration of like a friendship, I guess. I personally don't really get into fights a lot, but there have been a lot of friendships that I've had here at Oxford that haven't always ended well, and so it causes a lot of tension and it causes a lot of bitterness. And because there wasn't always reconciliation, there was a lot of disunity, especially within the church, and so I learned to always reconcile. And in Romans 12:8 it says, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with others. And so sometimes you may want to reconcile, but that person may not want to. And so as far as you can go, as much as you can do, try to reconcile with people and try to live at peace with other people, because that is really, really delighting to God. And so just be sure to reconcile with people and have healthy relationships with people. Don't try to start beef, and don't be petty. Just really remember to stay humble and to love other people and to have healthy relationships. Another one is to have an accountability partner at school. And so something that really, really helped me to get through my years here at Oxford was to have a really close Christian friend. One of the hardest things about being here at Oxford is that I guess just at any high school, it would be you're not surrounded by a lot of Christians, and I can definitely say that a majority of my friends are non-Christian here at school, and so it is important to have an accountability partner, because they're able to keep you in check and just make sure that you are not straying too far from God. It'll help both of you to grow in your individual faiths. Okay, and then the second to last one that I have is to always be vulnerable. There are a lot of things that I've kept hidden about my life throughout high school that caused a lot of chaos in my life, I guess, because I kept it hidden and because I didn't bring it into the light and have someone keep me accountable. And so one thing that I really learned was to never hide things, always be vulnerable, always be open, and not foolishly open, like not telling everyone or like posting on social media like I did this is my sin, blah blah blah, but like being smart with who you're telling, whether it be a leader or a close friend or someone like a spiritual mentor or something, but never hide things and always bring them to the light, and God will heal that. And I feel like for me personally, there were a lot of things that I felt like God couldn't heal, like impurity and things like that, and I was so ashamed of my sin that it took me a really long time to finally bring it before God and say, God, here is my sin, and here, even though I'm dirty and even though I'm ashamed of this, God, I know that you will heal it. It took me a really long time to be able to say that, but literally the minute before, or the minute I brought it to light, or the minute I gave it to God, there was so much peace. And I had my leader at church pray for me when I surrendered this shame to God, and she said that when she was praying for me, all she could see was just snow, like just pure snow and just a clean slate. And like beyond just forgiving your sin, he completely forgets it. Like he doesn't even remember it at all. And so never be ashamed to bring things before God, because he's so quick to forgive. And so always be vulnerable, and because God already knows everything anyway, so you literally can't hide things from God. Just bring it to him. And then this last one is like a little bit weird. It's not like biblical, it's not like a rule or anything, but it's just something that I personally believe, I guess. The last piece of advice that I have before I leave Oxford, before I graduate high school, is to not date. And I don't even mean to sound like a mom or anything, but like really, dating is so bad in terms of being a Christian and living out your faith in high school. I personally think it's really bad because it divides your heart so much. And at our age, if you really think about it, the purpose of dating is to marry. And at our age, whether you're a 7th grader at 11 or 12 years old to a senior, whether it's like 17 to 18, we're not focused on getting married right now. Like in this season of our life, it's focused on learning how to stay pure, learning how to stay holy before God, and really building our personal relationship with God and building our walk with Him. And I think dating is something that I used to be really ashamed of because I don't know, I guess I was just like really boy crazy during high school, but seriously, like I've seen how much it's hurt my spiritual life and how much it's torn me apart from God. And when I say that relationships give you a divided heart, I'm saying that you spend so much time focused on this one person when that much time can be focused on God. And if in your singleness you can't focus on God, then you're not ready for a relationship. You're not ready to give your attention to someone else when you can't even give it to God, when you're not distracted. And I think everyone hears a lot like, oh, dating is bad, you shouldn't date in high school. And to me, honestly, it really, really is my prayer that you guys stay single. And I know it's easy for the world to portray it as being bad, like singleness is so bad, and you're lonely if you don't have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and you're lame if you don't have like your first kiss in high school and things like that. But seriously, that's so stupid in my opinion. And as Christians, we're called to be set apart. Like it doesn't even matter like what the world says, because we're not called to be conformed to the world. We're supposed to be set apart and holy. And so even if that means going against what people would normally say, just ignore that and focus on God, because seriously, God is so much better than what any high school boy can tell you. And if he says he loves you, he really doesn't. Until he understands God's love for him and God's love for you, then he should be saying that to you, to all the girls. And to all the boys, be men of God before you try to pursue a girl. You are in high school or junior high, I guess, and you have no business pursuing a girl while she's being pursued by the father. And so just hold off until like college or until you're ready. And then I think something that a lot of people think about like in high school is like, oh, this person's the one, I think this person's the one, who's the one, like how am I gonna find the one, and things like that. But don't focus on trying to find the one, focus on being the one that God wants you to be. And so whether it's learning to grow in love or patience or kindness or purity or just things like that, just focus on being who God has called you to be, and at the right time God will bring alongside you someone who can run the race with you. But I have learned that no matter how many times a leader or an adult or a student tells me don't date in high school, you date anyway. My pastor, my parents, my leaders, my friends always told me not to date, but I always just did because I'm a sinful human. And so but if you are going to date, I just encourage you to have a close friend, both of you, to talk to keep you guys accountable in your relationship, because it's so easy to fall into impurity, and it's so easy to fall into a temptation. And so just have someone keeping you accountable. And yeah, if you are going to date and if you do things that you regret, be quick to bring them before God, because God does forgive and He does have grace. So yeah, that's my advice. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the senior advice that we had. We share all these things honestly from experience and from mistakes that we've made, and so we encourage you guys to learn from our mistakes and not have to learn them the hard way, because we've all faced so much heartbreak, so much hurt, so much pain, and we would hate to see you guys have to go through that as well. And so we just ask that you really consider everything that we're saying, and yeah, just really take it seriously, because we put a lot of time and effort into putting this video together for you guys. And so yeah, I just want to thank you again for watching, and we hope you enjoy.